Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. In this episode, I'm going to be reviewing Yono and the Celestial Elephants for the Nintendo Switch and Steam. I got a lot to cover with this one, so let's get to it. Smash JT. Yono and the Celestial Elephants is a grand adventure, featuring carefully designed puzzles, treasure hunts, a sprinkling of combat, and a world full of people. You play as Yono, a young elephant tasked to save the world that he's never even seen before, exploring a rich history of a kingdom where humans, zombies, and robots live together side by side. I personally first heard about this game when it was announced during the Nintendo Switch Nindies Showcase Summer 2017. And from the first second that I saw this game, I absolutely had to have it. It looked like a cross between Zelda the Wind Waker's graphics, but more of a perspective of top-down three-quarter view that you got with Minish Cap. And after researching this further, I learned that it was actually being made by one person, Nicholas Haleen. And speaking of, Nicholas, why don't you tell everyone about this game that you've spent the last 2 years making?
Hi, my name is Nicholas Haleen. The most direct inspirations in this game are the Zelda series, and especially 2D Zelda games like the Minish Cap. What I like about 2D Zeldas is that they are so clearly made up of sprites and they are arranged in this grid system. They are very clear and readable.
Knowing how games are made these days, even the indie games having giant teams of at least 30 to 50 people making these indie games, hearing that only one person was making this tempered my expectations of what I was going to get out of playing this game. With that in mind, starting this game out, it shows how you're created from the star constellation up above and how you're shot down to the planet to help save the people from themselves, really. And while traversing the initial area that you start in for this game, it gives you a sort of tutorial without hitting you over the head with being a tutorial. It does a good job of showing you the moves without dragging on. But that's not to say that everything in this game is absolutely perfect. There are a few things that stood out during my 8+ hours of start to finish of this game that I definitely wanted to talk about during this review. While this is extremely similar to a Zelda game, there is no inventory system, which kind of limits what you can do with the puzzles, because what you start the game with is basically what you're able to solve every puzzle with throughout the game. Now sure, there are a couple things added here and there, like fire and water, but for the most part, you're going to be solving these puzzles with what you start off with. That's not to say that it's easy by any means, but if you've played games where you push blocks around to put them on platforms and buttons to open up gates, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These are similar puzzles to what Zelda has, and Portal has, and even Darksiders 2. There were a lot of puzzles that while playing this game, I realized that I'd done before in some fashion or another, because I've played a lot of these types of games. This game by no means reinvents the wheel of puzzles, but it certainly doesn't have any flat tires along the way either. Some other things that got on my nerves while playing this game is the quests. Most of the quests that you'll be completing in it are fetch quests. Go get this item, bring it to this NPC. That NPC will give you another item that you bring to a different NPC, and doing so will move another NPC out of the way so that you're able to progress in the game. And even though doing those broke up the puzzle platforming aspect of this game, doing so still felt a little tedious at times. And also one thing to note, the game supports one save file, so if you want a different save file, you're gonna need to start a new game on a different account on your Nintendo Switch. While the storyline itself doesn't break any new barriers as far as storytelling in video games go, it does the job and kept me entertained throughout the entire adventure. The game gives a really peaceful and pleasant vibe, and it's super chill just to be playing it and relaxing while you're solving a lot of these puzzles. Also keep in mind, for the Nintendo Switch, this is an indie game and it has not been patched yet with Pro Controller support. So in order to play this game, you're going to need to play it with the actual Joy-Cons. I spoke with the developer Nicholas Haleen about this, and he said he will be working on it with one of his friends and hopefully implementing the Switch Pro Controller in a future update. And while it may sound like I'm being overly critical with this entire review, I really had a blast while I was playing this game. These are just some little niche nuanced things that stood out to me that I was really like, I just wish he fixed this and this and this. But then when you realize it's one person that made this game and how incredibly ambitious and gigantic the world truly is when you get down to it, I really can't complain too much. The game lasted me just over 8 hours, and at no point did I feel like I didn't want to continue playing, which is probably the most important takeaway from this review. As far as the things I loved about this game, the graphic style was extremely charming. The music was absolutely incredible and right up there with my favorite parts of this game. The sound effects were spot spot on, and the actual songs in the game fit the worlds that you are in absolutely perfect. And the actual puzzles that you'll be completing in this game, like I said, they don't break any new ground, but they're a lot of fun to solve. I never felt it get stale while solving the puzzles, which is a really good thing, because that's basically what this game boils down to being, is going from room to room, solving puzzles to progress. Similar in a way to the test chambers of Portal, if you're familiar with that game. So with all that being said, how do I feel about Yono and the Celestial Elephants? It was really fun. I mean, for one person to make this game, I cannot stress that enough. It is like this complete thought-out adventure that encompasses an entire world. And while it does have its share of shortcomings, it manages to succeed in the long run. Because if you're like me and you enjoy puzzle platformer games, you won't be able to put this game down. That's why my final score for Yono and the Celestial Elephants is an 8.25 out of 10. The ambitious world that you'll be playing in is peaceful and playful, charming. The graphics really fit the mood and the style of the game, and overall I feel like this game is a success, and highly likely to end up as a Switch hidden gem down the road. Yono and the Celestial Elephants will be available on the Nintendo Switch and PC on Thursday, October 12th, 2017. For a retail price of $14.99. For people that absolutely love the Zelda-style action-adventure puzzle platformers game, I say this is a day one purchase. If you've played a lot of these kind of games before in the past and you feel like you've done your share of pushing block games, probably wait for a sale because it's not going to break any new ground that you haven't already covered in a previous game that you've played. But still worth playing, and I really don't feel like the $14.99 asking price for this game is completely unreasonable. There's a lot to be discovered in the world of this game, and I know you won't regret playing it. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments if you plan on picking this game up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.
Make it all about one thing, when there's so much you used to be about.